Community, hear remarks from our visitors. If you would, please fill out a form, a citizen participation form, and that way we can call you forward. All right. Are you ready? Ready? At this time, the mayor will call to order the regular city council meeting for 6 p.m. Tuesday, October 21st of 2025. Our city council chambers, 201 East Nash Street, Terrell, Texas. Have on the dais with us today, this evening, District 2, Donna Renee Anderson, our deputy mayor pro tem. We have District 3, Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, District 4, Stephanie Holmes Thomas, and our mayor pro tem, Phil Robinson, from District 5. We do have a quorum. We also have our interim city manager, Mark Mills, with us, and staff. So we'll continue with our meeting. At this time, I would ask Pastor Nick Esch to come forward, please. He's with our Cornerstone Reformed Church. If you would, please lead us in invocation, and everyone please rise, remain standing for our pledges.
Let's pray. Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, God, we give you thanks and praise, for you are good, and your steadfast love endures forever. You have made heaven and earth, and you rule them by your sovereign hand. You have established every authority under heaven, for there is no power except that which you have ordained. And God, we thank you for the city of Terrell, for her people, her families, her churches, her businesses, and for these leaders whom you have appointed to serve and to steward her welfare. You have called these leaders and civil magistrates to be your servants for the good of the people, to reward those who do right and to restrain those who do evil, to encourage righteousness and discourage evil. Grant that they would govern with wisdom, courage, and humility before you. May they remember that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and that all authority on earth rests beneath the feet of Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. God, we confess that as a people we have not always walked in righteousness. We have often called evil good and good evil. We have trusted in our own understanding rather than in your word. Forgive us through the blood of the Lamb, who bore our sins and triumphed over sin, Satan, and death, taking our guilt and the wrath we deserve upon himself on the cross in our place. Turn our hearts to you again, that this city might be known not for rebellion, but for righteousness, not for confusion, but for peace. Bless this council tonight, O Lord. Grant clarity in deliberation, charity in disagreement, and justice in every decision. May their work be established by your wisdom and guided by your Spirit, so that our city would flourish in truth, beauty, and goodness, a community where homes are strong, children are nurtured, neighbors are loved, and the name of Jesus is honored from the courthouse to every household. We ask all these things in the name of Jesus Christ, the risen and reigning Lord, to whom all authority in heaven and on earth has been given. And amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
All right, thank you. Pastor, if you would, please, Pastor statement.
Sure.
Of course.
Words. I normally will give a challenge coin to those who come and participate in the first part of our council meeting. The council recognizes that we as a community need our faith-based community. So on behalf of the mayor and the city council, thank you for being here with us this evening and for the prayer. This is just a little challenge coin. we hope that you continue to do your ministry within the city of Terrell and the area. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Honor.
Let's get- Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, council, if there's no objection, I have something I would like to begin with. I have a guest that has been waiting years. I've been waiting years to be able to do this. And so we have a special guest. If you would please look to the back of the room. We, the Terrell Tigers, have finally defeated our Highway 34 opponent in Kaufman. So Mayor Jordan and I, every year, have a bet that whomever loses goes to the winner's council meeting in the winner's jersey and presents to the council. So this is new for Jordan. This may be your first time to be here. Everybody in Kaufman knows the mayor of Terrell because I go every year. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Jordan with our Terrell Fighting Tiger number 12. Those that don't know, Mayor Jordan was number 12 when he played for the black and yellow team. Is that what it is?
Oh, black and
Oh,
gold.
yeah, black and gold. So, floor's yours, Jordan.
Well, Mayor, Council, thank y'all for having me this evening. It's always a pleasure to be in Terrell, even if it's these circumstances where I have to come humbly bow and lick my wounds publicly and congratulate the fine folks of Terrell and the Terrell Tigers on a very well-played game. That is a very talented team. You did point out that we've had a little better luck over the last 10 years, but there's no doubt who was the better team this year. I do want to make one point, though, if I could, a plea to the council, a plea to the mayor.
Out of order. I know this is going.
That Hambrick kid who is the running back,
Yes.
who scored like 10 touchdowns against us. Now, his dad played with me at Kaufman, so I think all of those points should count for Kaufman. And he should be playing south of here also, but
Okay.
if you're not amenable to that, then I stand here to congratulate the Tigers on a game well played, and we look forward to next year. I'll wrap this up because I can't breathe in this jersey very well. I'm a little above my playing weight from the late 90s.
Right.
And also, I have to get back to Kaufman for the matchup between Kaufman and the Terrell Tigers in volleyball.
Right.
So
Wonderful. Hey,
maybe we'll get y'all back tonight.
oh, I got one more thing, Jordan. So both,
I'm just glad you didn't make me kick a
yeah,
field
hey,
goal.
both communities have a new organization within their, zip line, right? Mm-hmm. Well, so the mayor will have stuff delivered sometimes. I'm sure you do as well. But
Yes,
I think this
we
would,
had the very first delivery at City Hall.
yeah, because we weren't able to schedule it, but that's for later. No, here's what we done. This was delivered. I think this is yours, so
Uh-oh,
we're going to allow you to open it.
this keeps falling. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm getting into here. All right, excellent.
What a great guy. Great mayor for Kaufman County and the city of Kaufman.
Thank y'all.
You bet.
Enjoyed
Thank
it.
you. Good luck.
We'll see y'all
His
next
daughter-
year.
His daughter's playing volleyball. Yeah, I need to return the jersey though, man.
If I can get out of it, I can.
Oh, man, I got up early this morning knowing that we were going to be able to do that and just whistling and in a good mood. I called Jordan. He said, man, I'm struggling this morning. I said, I know why. I've been there. All right. So next on the agenda is mayor and council community recognitions and events. I do want to take a moment since we just finished up with Mayor Jordan. The Terrell Tiger High School football team is now 7-0. They play Friday in Greenville. Thursday. Oh, yeah, they changed it. Yeah, Thursday. And so we hope that after Thursday, they'll be 8-0. So, does anybody have any community recognition or events?
Yes.
Oh, you want to go first?
Sure. One, I have to reach under the table, but it's no surprise that the K Kids from Terrell ISD, about each month, they hand us, a very small token of their appreciation, but it goes a long way because most of the gifts are usually made, like they're in art and craft, so it's something unique that they've made. But it just lit up my evening to see this from the kids, and it reminded me about reminding the community that this Friday or next Friday on the 31st, Terrell Downtown businesses will again support our community by doing a trick-or-treat event. So that starts at 5 in the downtown area. And so a big thank you to them and the Chamber of Commerce and all who make that possible. And I hope they really have a good time. I'm sure we'll have some costumes that will be a little scary out there and some that will make us laugh.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman.
This weekend was the 150th year celebration for American National Bank. And they had wonderful entertainment, and they took up pretty much all of the back of their area. But it was great to be with that celebration on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I went to a breast cancer awareness tea and met women who were cancer survivors. The longest cancer survivor was 31 years. So it was good. The mayor and I were at both events, and it was just good to be out in the community. And for those of you that are familiar with me, I've been reading a lot of legislation, and it's time to vote. We have 17 constitutional amendments on the Texas, it's going to be a Texas constitutional amendment election. 17 amendments. Please read them carefully, out loud, however best you understand, and remember to vote. Our vote counts. And thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Mayor, I just want to put another plug in because we have our Director of Library Services here that they will also be hosting a fun event on Friday, the 13th, next Friday at 5 p.m. as well. So come on down.
Okay. Everybody else? Anyone else? All right, next on the agenda is we have one more?
Yeah, Mark, thank you so much for reminding me. There is another community event this Friday at 6 p.m. and it's the Hispanic nonprofit for the county, and they are hosting an event to recognize their volunteers and individuals that have successfully completed programs such as like the adult literacy programs, the citizenship classes, or those that were heavily involved in the passing of the school bond election as well. So if you haven't grabbed your ticket, feel free to grab a ticket. They'll have dinner and a recognition, and you can dress up as well.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman. We also have a new employee that we would like to introduce to the council. Mark?
Mayor, Council, I'm pleased to present to you this evening Donald McKinney. Mr. McKinney has come to us on a temporary basis to be our interim Director of Utilities and help us work and continue our utility operations while we are out looking for a utility director and determining how best to structure that department. He's got over 30 years of experience and is going to be a very valuable asset to us.
Wonderful. Would you like to address the
Mayor, Council, Mr. Bernie brought me on to assist you guys in the utility department, and I plan on molding them to where it should be. took a little while to get to where you are, so it's gonna take a little time to get out of it. So just bear with me.
Wonderful. Well, welcome to the city. We look forward to having you as part of our organization and part of the family.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Welcome.
Yep. Our next item on the agenda would be to hear remarks from visitors. At this time, I'll call you up. Debbie Miller, if you would come forward. If you would just state your name, your address, and 3 minutes.
Okay. Debbie Miller, 418 Campbell Street, Terrell, Texas. I'm a federal government employee, and of course, I'm affected by this shutdown. I had talked to Phil about waiving my late fees because my church was going to pay my water bill and it was going to be late. And so I talked to Phil and the city manager, and my late fees were waived, and then also the shutdown. So I just want to thank Phil and all the city council for your support. It's going to be tough next week not getting a paycheck, but so I appreciate all your support for me and all the other federal employees. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. You bet. Gail Surratt? Well, no, go, I've called you. I don't have them in any order. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Council. Gail Surratt, 15783 Nike Drive. I have a couple of points this afternoon I'd like to go over. The last time you were at a council meeting, we were talking about the park out there, you know, being upgraded, and there was a big thing about a bathroom. Well, I got to thinking about that. Since the 35-plus years I've been here, when I got to this town, we had 2 hospitals, 2. And it was a much poorer town than it is now, not near the tax revenue that we had. But you're worried about a bathroom, but we can't get a hospital. I hear over and over again tax revenue for the new homes coming in, the new businesses coming in. But I don't ever hear anything about a hospital. It's like, you know, if we had a hospital here, 5 to 7 minutes during an emergency. Yes, Forney's going to get a new hospital that will be closer to us. It takes 15 to 17 minutes to get to Forney without traffic. What happens if you got somebody with a gunshot and they're stuck in traffic? And you know, from driving there, there's nowhere to get off and take a shortcut. The difference I see from back then to now, this town is maxed out in debt and bonds. Always asking the public to pass your new bonds. I think our priorities are a little screwed up. We don't need a fancy hospital. We need an emergency room that can handle, and then we can send them off in a helicopter to a better, bigger hospital. We don't need Baylor. There's other options out there. And I think it's your due diligence to look for other options for this town. I think everyone here can say that that is a concern of theirs. My second is Terra Nova. Again, we talked about this in our last meeting. And there was a group of people that brought up all these issues on possible chemicals being left on that ground from cows and from the missiles out there, Nike Base. And we've asked questions and have not heard any responses. Where is that water that they pump out from down beneath the missiles? And I've been on that side, I've told you that before. Where's that water being directed to? Those fields already flood, and you're going to bring in more homes. And the builder, I feel for him. These questions need to be asked. Where is that water going to be directed to? Who are you going to be flooding out?
So you're 3
I think
minutes.
this-
Wind it down, please.
I will. I think the city has a responsibility to conduct an EPA testing and hold off on the project until these full reports are back from the EPA and fully disclosed to the public. You're all aware of the problems because this group has sent you information on that. I just ask you to do your duty, and protect your community and the health of your citizens on down the line. And I don't know if the builder knows, but we have 120 to 140 homes on the market at any time, and they are not selling. New builders, they're slashing the prices $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, and they're not moving at a lower interest rate.
You got 3 minutes.
Okay, just one more thing.
All right.
I was out at Tanger Mall today shopping, and I noticed that at least 1/4 to 1/3 of those buildings out there are empty. Do we need more shops? No, because businesses can't handle them. You have 2 big businesses out there, a medical and a church, that take up the majority. So do your due diligence and really think about it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Next, Beto Meza.
Good afternoon. I'm a new resident. My wife and I, Gracie, we are new residents here in Terrell, Texas. We love Terrell, Texas. Everybody has welcomed us with open arms. And originally from the Rio Grande Valley, I am a Spanish minister, pastor for Family Cathedral in Forney, Texas. And so my remarks here today are going to be very brief and just talking about the Terra Nova. And the Terra Nova for us, when we moved down here to Terrell, Texas, we love the small town community. We love the people here.
If you would address the mayor and the council, please.
It's a very small town community, and we enjoy that. And that's the main reason why we moved from Dallas to Terrell, Texas. One of the things that we're concerned about is the stake for our community, and it's not just about growth. Obviously, you guys have a very difficult task, and we applaud you for your hard work, because it's not easy for what you do regarding the public, and then also everything you got to decide economically, etc. But it's not just about growth, but it's also about the identity of the city of Terrell. And also, not only the identity of Terrell, but we believe, or I believe, that Terra Nova is going to reshape this town, and we risk to lose the essence of what makes this city special. Number one, perhaps there's a possibility that will bring division among neighbors and neighborhoods. Number two, it could bring a loss of community character. Number three, it could strain our resources, and from what I heard, very little knowledge that I have, that our resources are strained, as we know already. Number four, the changes that can bring will be and could be and possibly will be irreversible. We stand together with our community in, I believe it would be called North Terrell, off of East Makowski. We just bought a beautiful home there. And we believe, our neighborhood believes, we stand together to protect the Terrell that we've learned to love in 5 months, right? But the neighbors love this city. We love this city. And we're risking losing that character that we have built in this city, especially with our schools and the community. We reject the idea more than anything, and instead we ought to focus on preserving our community's character, our relationships, and our quality of life. We owe it to ourselves, to our children and our community, to make a decision that will benefit all of us. Now, for us, the people, we must rise up, and we must get more involved, obviously. We must be more involved in the school. We must be more involved economically, not send our money to Forney. Our church is in Forney. And so my experience the past 2 years, beautiful people, obviously, we love people, but I don't want to live in Forney. This is why I moved to Terrell. I don't want Terrell to be another Forney, Texas. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Next on the agenda is public hearings and city council actions. The first item is to conduct a public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed creation of a reinvestment zone contained of approximately 548.78 acres of land generally located west of FM 986, east of Texas Highway 34, north of Town North Drive, and south of County Road 321, and being wholly located within the corporate limits and extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city of Terrell, Texas. This is going to be handled by Raylan Smith.
Does it ever make y'all nervous when I come up with like lots of speaking points? I just want to open tonight and say that as city staff, we want to thank you for the Terrell Citizens Academy. I spoke with that group a couple of weeks ago, and I think that us constantly being reminded that we cannot take for granted the terminology that we know inside this building. The years of experience that we have, knowing the ordinances like the back of our hands, all of the staff took some time to make sure that we could explain what we do to the Citizens Academy. And so I just wanted to publicly stand up here and say that as staff, we need to be held accountable to making those types of presentations. We want the community involved in our meetings. We want them here and participating. And so what I wanted to do tonight is kind of open up the discussion about TERS in layman's terms. We're obviously all the way up to TERS number 8. So tonight you are considering TERS 6, 7, and 8. So we've done this a lot, but I don't know if we've ever slowed down and just really said very simply what TERS is. So a quick word about TERS in very plain English is it's just a way to take tax dollars created by new development, not existing, so that you can reinvest those same dollars within that area. And that's what helps build things like roads, utilities, and drainage. And so what this means for our current residents is that your current property taxes don't go up to help pay for the infrastructure for new growth. And so when you look at the TERS map, generally it's going to be the boundary of a particular development. So TERS 6 and 7 is Hillside and Evening Star, which I'll remind the city council, you already have a development agreement on file. We already, the TERS is a part of the development agreement. So TERS number 8 is a brand-new option. I've got Jordan and Luke here from P3, and they are going to present to you the very technical financial plans, et cetera. But again, to put in layman's terms, this is the infrastructure. Within the financial plan is the infrastructure of what's going to make that subdivision or that development work. That's your roadways, your water, your sewer, your drainage, et cetera. When you look at the years assigned to TERS, it's very scary when you see a 30-year TERS or even a 60-year TERS. But if you look on the flip side of that coin, the longer the TERS, it actually speaks to the longer build-out it will take for that entire development. So one of the examples that I gave the Citizens Academy was Creekside. And that was because in 1998, when I was here the first time, that was the very first development agreement that the city of Terrell had done. It was with Mr. McGinnis and his son, and it was Creekside Development, and y'all, we're still approving building permits within Creekside, and that's been 30 years. So these developments take a while to build out, and I just use those as examples, mainly, and I know I'm supposed to speak to y'all, but also to the community to kind of explain we are looking at immediate changes, but more than anything, your immediate changes happen with the infrastructure that has to go in, which is your roadways. Before a single house is built in any of these TERS areas, the roadways and the infrastructure will have to be in, which means you get immediate transportation relief. If you look at the location of TERS number 8, there's going to be a lot of transportation relief around existing school zones. So it is going to open up some additional roadways. Not speaking for or against either way, I just wanted to take a minute and kind of explain what the TERS money funding is for, how it assists not only the developer, it's not a developer incentive, it's also a way where the city can make sure that we have money concentrated on a particular area to make sure that it gets built out in the way that it should. So like I said, I have the experts with the financial plan. I wanted to just kind of open up with making sure that everyone who is participating in the public hearing understood the TERS that were coming before you. So item 4.1 is TERS number 6. And this is actually off of State Highway 34 and FM 986. And again, this is a development agreement that you have previously considered.
So did you want us to continue with the public hearing? Or if you would, please come forward and do the presentation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, Council, and to your point, at the end, this is a public hearing prior to the creation. Thank you again for the time tonight. So again, the first one we're talking about is TERS number 6. This is related to the Hillside project. And as Raylan said, I don't know that I have, she took most of my presentation. I very much appreciate that. It's great to have already that kind of an introduction of that background. We're here to really answer questions. But TERS number 6, again, related to the Hillside project, 30 years TERS. The item that's before the council tonight is the ordinance to create the TERS. That would set up the TERS itself for that 30-year term. In that, it's also going to set aside the tax rate increment. So the portion of the tax rate that's generated on the new growth there, a portion of that is going to the TERS fund. Here, it is 50% of the city's M&O dollars that are collected on that increment is going into that TERS fund for that 30-year period. This is, again, about 550 acres. Some of it's in the ETJ, some of it's in the city. This is being developed here over the next, talk to the developer, I believe they're starting to have homes here in the next year or so. So really, part of this was all part of the development agreement that was signed back up in 2024. So anticipating about $45 million in project cost, about, excuse me, another $40 million worth of new tax revenues. 50% of that's going to the city. So happy to answer any other questions. Part of that plan is also a preliminary finance plan that'll be updated as we go.
Yeah, typically what we would do is go ahead and conduct the public hearing. But
Yes.
council, this is important to.
Yep.
I know, I understand it, and most of you got a good grasp of what it is that we're talking about when we talk about TERS. You had mentioned that there's 50% of the M&O, but none of the INS is
None
going.
of the INS, yep.
So that's very important and key to whether or not we're able to service their debt. The folks that say we're maxed out, that just simply isn't true. The other thing would be that these are funding options that are available to the city to get infrastructure that otherwise the city would have to pay.
Absolutely.
Now, our current residents and citizens aren't paying it. It's the new development that's paying for itself. Why would you not want to be supportive of that? I don't understand. I mean, the other option is to have our residents and us pay for it, which I think would be unfair. But as new development occurs and we get, the developer gets paid back, it's not our money, it's their money that we're using and paying back through the TERS, correct?
Yeah, it will be the TERS dollars that are collected
Yes.
on that new increment that they bring in. And to your point, part of this is anticipated to be a PID. The TERS dollars are primarily used to lower that PID assessment for future homeowners. So that is a use of those dollars that will also save those homeowners money.
Yeah, so I would just say, it's important for you to for us, the decision makers, the ones that are making the final votes, to understand exactly what it is that we're talking about and exactly what it is that we're voting for. And for anyone who would think that the mayor or one of you guys would want to put the city of Terrell or a resident in any type of jeopardy, it doesn't hold water. But with that said, if there's any questions, let's go ahead and get them answered.
My first question is,
Yes, sir.
have you ever heard in your entire tenure doing work with the TERS of a 60-year TERS?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How common would that be?
It's really all going to be development driven. This one is specifically a 30-year TERS. The Hillside one in front of you for TERS number 6 is a 30-year TERS. term, and I'm happy to speak to that either now or when we come back to
We're
TERS.
talking about TERS in general,
Yeah,
right?
generally, yeah. I don't know that I can give you a specific percentage. It's typically tied to the time of the development and how often.
But it's very exceedingly rare, a 60-year TERS. I actually looked around and throughout the state of Texas, I haven't found one other example of a 60-year TERS.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tied to how often the phasing is coming on. So especially in a situation where you have a 20-phase project that's anticipated to be developed over the next 20 years, the
But you
intention.
have seen 60-year TERSs before.
Yeah, I don't think this is the first 6-year TERS that's been done.
Okay.
So I think there's ones that have gone out for longer periods of that.
It doesn't strike you as abnormally long?
It is definitely on the longer side, but again, that's tied to the specific of the development.
Okay.
So typically, in that one specifically, I know the intent was to have a 30-year per phase with a 30-year worth of build-out. So
Okay.
each of those phases is only lasting 30 years. It is the total term of the TERS is lasting 60 years, so that we have 30 years to do build-out. But on that feasibility study, if you see that each phase is only coming online for a 30-year term. We just have 30 years worth of build-out, so that last phase, in order to keep that on, we'll still have the 30 years.
Okay.
But it is on the rare, it is a longer TERS for sure.
I would like to caution us as a council against presenting TERS as having zero cons. There are pros and cons in any action we take. The con for a TERS would be, you're tying the money to a specific area. So you're saying, okay, we're going to increase the tax revenue, or we're going to take the tax increment from this area and use it only in this area. So my concern with the TERS is when you put one in place in a given area, you don't have those funds available to use in other areas of the city that might need them, correct?
Yeah, the increment that is generated on this, portions of that is going into the TERS fund to be used for projects that specifically benefit that TERS.
Okay, so we would be able to tax at our normal rate, the base rate, actually the current value of the land now, and any increment after that, the increased property value, we could tax at 50% to the city. The other 50% goes to the development.
That's on the M&O side. So 50% of the M&O, 100% of the INS would go back to the city, but 50% of the M&O would be deposited into the TERS fund to be used either for assessment buy-downs or which again is lowering the assessment for those homeowners, or for project that the city and the developer decide upon.
Okay. Generally speaking, have you dealt with cases in the past where there's been an outcry from citizens after the fact saying this has created some inequities in our community?
Not that have been directed to me specifically.
Are you aware of them though, generally?
I don't know that I can speak to specific projects on situations where they've reached back out. I have cities who have created 100% TERSs that know that they have struggled a lot on, but those are certainly not the situation here.
50% TERSs you found to be beneficial for a community in general, or?
50% TERS is typically, that's where we see a lot of the TERS is starting on. Those, again, they're tied to the developments that are specifically growing in that area.
Okay. If you were to sort of provide just overall the pros and cons of establishing a TERS, give me 2 pros, 2 cons.
Yeah, I think the primary pros are really going to allowing the assessments to be lower on the future homeowners. So that allows for, it allows for additional improvements that may have not been financed otherwise that would have made those homes inaccessible. So it allows us to increase the project costs that are actually being paid, that are being dedicated over to the city. So that's definitely a pro. To go on the con side, to your point, it is taking those tax revenues that are generated in that area and are limiting what those uses can be. Again, those are designed to be projects that both the developer and the city sign off on. But it is a more limited, those projects that are, in order to use a TERS dollars, those projects must benefit the TERS.
Yeah, and to be fair, those projects done in the TERS area may benefit the city at large, creating thoroughfares, things that benefit traffic flow. It's not necessarily just going to benefit that area, but we do need to make clear that 50% money is going to stay within that area. And we're talking about, for one of these TERS, for 60 years, correct?
30 years per phase of that
30 years
TERS.
per
So,
phase.
yeah, and the reason for that, and again, it's really it's designed that the last phase of build-out is also getting that 30 years worth of treatment. But the intent is, and that was a negotiated term that we had a lot with the developer, is that for that first phase that is developed early on, after 30 years, 100% of those revenues generated in that phase come back to the city. So it is a 30-year TERS per phase. It's just this TERS itself includes so many phases that in order to capture each of those 30-year phases, it was a 60-year TERS.
Okay, and just in terms of what we've
Yeah.
done in the past with regard to our TERSs for, this is TERS number 6. We've had TERS 1, 2, 3. Our downtown TERS has allowed us to do a lot of big, important projects in our downtown area. So we've seen benefit. I don't mean to characterize it as something that's inherently negative, because it provides a lot of benefit when used correctly. But I just want to caution us, and so that we understand kind of, like anything else, there are pros and cons to bringing forward this. So
No, I agree, point made, but this is for undeveloped land. This is for undeveloped land where there's no infrastructure, there's no streets, there's no water, there's no sewer, and it's to pay back the development cost, right?
Yeah, it's.
And other amenities that might be included in it, but basically to pay back the developer the infrastructure cost.
Yeah, and specifically on TERS 6.
So let's do it for instance. We got a 30-year TERS that's set up to repay the developer, and the development's really kicks off, it gets booming, it's good. Is there a cap on the money paid to the developer?
Both of these are tied to a time limit.
Right.
As opposed to a specific cap. So yeah, it is a incentive. I mean, that was, for another pro, that is what we do see, is it incentivizes growth quicker.
To do it quickly.
Yeah, to do it quickly and to do it well.
Right, again, so it's ag, most of the land is ag, generating $0 to the city. It will continue to generate $0, basically.
Yeah, and I believe especially for, I think all three of these have properties in the ETJ, and a big portion of the reason the TERS was used was in order to encourage that annexation, which
Exactly.
when it's $0, when it's in the ETJ, it is $0. And that is also, I'll note, that's also the reason all three of those are coming here tonight, because after this, I believe the city will be there is no more TERSs that could be created.
Yeah.
So that's the intent
And
as well, so hit that.
We could take the option of saying, you know what, we're not going to do a TERS and we're not going to be included in the development. The city will put $0 in it and we'll get zero forever from that development. That's the other option that we've got. Or we can say, you know what, let's work a deal and let's do the best that we can on these things. And like I've always said, I've told everybody, there's no perfect deal, but there is something that we can negotiate to and towards. Yeah, I wish it would be shorter terms, but it just isn't. And as long as there's benefit on both sides, that's the best deal that we've got.
Certainly, and I do know, I know we worked with Mr. Mills as well, just on the negotiation back and forth of what the initial ask was
Yeah.
versus to what it is now. Again, the 6-year term, like I said, it is on the longer side with the intent that is really capturing a long-term development. There's not a whole lot of developments that have as many phases as this development has. So that's certainly a portion of that, but the intent is each portion of the development is a 30-year piece.
And I think another point would be if it was a smaller area, what would be developed quicker, you wouldn't have a 30-year.
Well, and that's
necessary.
Yeah, Hillside is a 500-acre
Yeah.
TERS. That is on the 30-year, and that's, I would say, a 30-year term with a 50% M&O is kind of the standard, what we see a lot.
My point simply is, if one of the benefits we're espousing for this development is that it's going to generate revenue for our city to improve our roads, our streets, public safety, et cetera, I want to make sure we're able to use that funding to improve our city, and so it's not contained in one single area. And I understand, and 50%, that's actually on the far more reasonable side in terms of what I've seen in a lot of TERS.
Yes.
What gives me pause, though, is the 60-year term. 'Cause I worry about us, that far in the future as times change, the city evolves, being beholden to a 60-year agreement gives me a lot of pause.
Absolutely, and I know I'm sorry.
No,
really?
I was just mentioning as the
Yeah.
phasing finishes, then that money
Yeah.
is released. So
Yeah,
once
and-
we get down to the bottom, you're really only paying out however many.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And that is the piece, is really in 30 years, with a 2,000-acre TERS for TERS number 8, in 30 years, we would be double the size of Hillside that would still be now generating back revenues. If we've developed 1,000 acres of TERS number 8, those first 1,000 acres, after 30 years, all that revenue is coming back to the city. But yeah, you are correct, this is a circle that we are drawing over a large area in order to create lots of 30-year TERSs all at once, is another way to think of it. Each of those phases has a 30-year term. but we're creating one TERS to allow for coordination of the projects.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Anyone
I
else?
appreciate those questions, too.
But I thought I heard,
Well, Stephanie was.
no, I heard you first, Stephanie, so I wanted to make sure you had your chance to go.
Answered already. You guys go ahead, I'll go later.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In terms of when a TERS is created, and heard you mention it helps lower the assessment on the PID for those new community members that would be moving into those homes, is the lower cost of the PID assessment for those community members always something that happens in a TERS, or is that something that is negotiated for each TERS?
Yeah, it's negotiated for each of these TERSs. Each of these TERSs are related to a PID, and each of those times we have a PID, the intent is to use some of those TERS dollars to buy down that assessment. But it is a negotiated piece.
Can you walk me through a general example of how that's negotiated and what the norm is compared to what we
Absolutely.
have in front of us?
Yeah, well, and I would say, again, I think especially on those terms, especially when you have a PID and a TERS on the same property, using that PID, that TERS collections to buy down your PID assessment is what we see a lot. And that really just allows those homes to be more marketable to those residents in the future, because that assessment amount is going to be calculated less the TERS credit. So the way we see TERS is, historically, without a PID, a TERS is, to your point, Councilman Robinson, sorry. I added the N in there. Yeah. But yeah, so a typical capital TERS is a identification on a map. Dollars in there are just used specifically for projects that the city and the TERS board identify. So that's just a capital TERS. When we see the PID assessment, the PID is going to levy an assessment that's tied to a specific tax rate. And assessments are we're going back into PID 301 at this point, but PIDs are a specific assessment that are levied a flat lien. We calculate those on a tax rate equivalency that essentially says a homeowner purchasing that property is paying about this much in tax on that PID assessment, even though it's not a tax, it's an assessment. When we use a TERS credit, it takes that amount down to a different number, to a lower number that allows that homeowner at their end of the year, when they make their tax payments, to pay less than they would have. So using that TERS credit against the assessment lowers that assessment to the homeowner. What that typically allows is for additional projects that would not have been funded to be funded earlier. When we use a TERS on a capital project, we're collecting those dollars over a 30-year period, and unless those are monetized in a bond or something, those are really only collected over that 30 to 50-year period. When we do it on a PID buy-down, it allows that PID assessment, which is historically been bonded, to produce those revenues right away to go build the projects, while the homeowners are still paying what is more or less a lower assessment.
Okay, that last part you mentioned.
Yeah.
is really helpful in terms of kind of like the layman's terms.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely it's been really used a lot in the last 5 years, but it's still it's a very efficient use of both TERS and PIDs, but it's still a newer source, so I'm happy to talk through that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I think so,
Yes, sir.
point of clarity, though. Once the PID has extended its life, then we, instead of getting 50%, we get 100%.
The TERS.
The city does, yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the TERS,
Right?
yeah, the TERS is
So
once
that's
you hit the end of the
another-
term.
yeah, That's another thing to consider.
Absolutely.
Moving forward. Once that is bought down, then it's
Yeah.
city revenue then.
We'll all be dead, Mayor.
Well, I will. You'll be here. You'll probably be here.
Yeah, this seat's over here. But yeah, so that's the 30-year TERS, exactly, that's right. It's after those 30 years. 30 years for Hillside, it's 44 for Evening Star, TERS 7. And that, again, that was negotiated back in the development agreement. Those are, after that period, it'll all come back to the city. The Terra Nova is a 60 years, but per phase, each of those properties in those phases, after that 30 years would come back to the city.
Okay.
What was the initial ask when you were talking about that?
I believe the initial ask, and Mark, you may correct me, I think it was 60% of the total tax rate.
60% of the total.
And so I know Mark worked very hard on that discussion and worked very closely with the Terra Nova team. Our team ran quite a few numbers just to understand what that was. I think it was a 65, but it was over a shorter period of time, with the intent being that more dollars were generated back So that's also the other piece of what we did in, as part of the TERS number 8, is that it's capped, it is tied to actual cost. So in order to get any of those additional dollars back, there would actually have to be cost that had been put into the ground and accepted by the city.
And I get why you're not messing with the INS, but
Yes, ma'am.
we're pretty confident given the 50% of the M&O, we're still gonna be able to do what we need and it won't cause a.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's a conversation Mark and I had quite a few times. We had with the whole financing team as well. And again, we ran 4 or 5 different scenarios and understood exactly where that would come in. And so we had presented that to the city team and went forward with that direction.
And the projects that's decided by the developer and the city, is that early on or is that after we've?
It's a little bit of both. So really the TERS, the first, especially and if we're talking about TERS number 8, especially there are projects that will be part of the PID plan, that those will ultimately be dedicated over to the city, that this developer is identifying that we're going to review to make sure they provide special benefit to the specific residents. And then the city is ultimately going to be signing off on those. Any projects over that on the project list would be specifically ones, the project list I think you see in there is a city CIP plan, because those are specifically projects that can be funded from that project. Anything else that the developer specifically wanting to fund would come back in front of both the TERS board as well as to the city council as part of the final plan.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
Okay. I tend to see things big to little.
Okay,
So I'm looking at the TERS as something very small,
okay.
because the Texas legislature
Our friends.
regulates how land is bought and sold. So if I am going to, for lack of a better phrase, minimize this to offset what the legislature has done to cities, it is to our benefit to negotiate with the developer some sort of financial reciprocation versus, I'm not good with acronyms. So a PID is
Public Improvement District,
okay, which is,
levy special
that's not
assessments.
necessarily a bad, but MUDs are different.
Yes, ma'am. No, MUDs are very different, yes.
The thing that, so when you have this over here, land use legislation, pro-land use, cities over here that are trying to survive, 1837 infrastructure. What can I get from developer who's coming in hard and fast?
Yeah,
And the TERS is that. I learned that sitting on the TERS board.
yeah.
So, all numbers aside, I'm looking at this TERS, these 6, 7, and 8, as because I want to have some sort of control over what's coming, we are going to sit down at the table and we're going to hash this out back and forth.
Absolutely.
Mark, do I have that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
If this was the 80s, it'd be I would have a very different colored suit, I'm sure, first of all, and much better hair, I'm sure. But also, this would not be our suggestion. But it's not the 80s. It's not, the legislature has made it specifically
But the
specific.
thing is, as a result of that legislation, which is 5 years in the making, we are where we are today.
Absolutely.
Am I correct?
That's correct. I'm not going to speak as a lawyer. I was a lawyer for the last 10 years, so I'm recovering fully now. But that is exactly right, is legislative-wise, the annexation process has changed entirely. Cities are on the back foot a lot of times, and this is an opportunity to step up and say, hey, we are controlling what comes into the city, as well as having a say in how that grows, while also encouraging the annexation to come back in.
And we have been limited in what we can do.
That's exactly right.
So this is one way for us to make that happen.
That's how I see it.
I might not like it, but the alternative is to have something that is untenable through municipal utility districts. Okay, thank you
Yes, ma'am.
very much.
So one more point. So for the TERS, the 50% that is collected on the new revenue
Yes, sir.
that goes back to the developer, that's the only portion that has to be spent in the TERS itself.
That's correct.
The 50% that we're getting from the
Yes.
city is
It's-
at large. We can
it-
spend that money wherever we want to. I
It
wanna
goes
make
into the
that
general
clear.
fund. That's correct.
100% of the taxes in a TERS does not go to the TERS.
Mm-hmm.
It's only the 50% that we allocate. The remainder of the 50% is for the city to use anywhere we want to.
On
Again,
day
to my
one.
point, would you rather have zero collected, or would you rather have 50% of the new development to use within the city? I think that's an easy question, but, okay, good. Does anybody have any further questions? Hey, great conversation, great input from the council, and thank you for the information. Does anybody else have any questions?
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you
Okay.
all.
All right, this is a public hearing, so at this time, we will open the public hearing to receive comments on the proposed creation of the reinvestment zone contained within approximately 548.78 acres of land generally located west of FM 986, east of Texas 34, north of Town North Drive, and south of County Road 321. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3156, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, designating a geographic area partially within the city and partially within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city as a tax increment reinvestment zone pursuant to Chapter 311 of the Texas Tax Code, to be known as Reinvestment Zone Number 6, City of Terrell, Texas, describing the boundaries of the zone, creating a board of directors for the zone, and appointing members of the board, establishing a tax increment fund, TERS Number 6 fund, for the zone, containing findings related to the creation of the zone, providing a date for the termination of the zone, providing that the zone take effect immediately upon passage of the ordinance, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for staff? I do want to make a point here. You know, we've had many discussions amongst ourselves, either privately or together, sometimes in public setting and sometimes just one-on-one, just hearing from each other. I know we've talked a lot about our staff and being supportive of our staff. They've put in a lot of work. Just want to take a moment and recognize that the quality of work that goes in to allowing us to have a meeting such as tonight, it takes a lot of time and effort. And I think, you know, when you see a staff recommendation, they don't bring it before the mayor and the council lightheartedly. They put in the work and want us to be able to move the city in the right direction. I would say for all of us, I know we've had one-on-ones with staff. At what level do we begin to say, you know what? Thank you for your hard work. I trust you. And while we're here to ensure that our constituents are heard and that we do our due diligence in asking the right questions, in the end, there's a decision that has to be made, whether you're going to be supportive or not. And hey, whichever side you're on, that's the side you're on, and that's where we are. But just wanted to take a moment to recognize the hard work of our staff. Is there any questions for staff before we move forward?
Are we in discussion?
No, this is for staff. And then after we get a vote, if you want to have further discussion, we can. Okay?
I have a question for staff in terms of the number of units. It was real, just hard to read on the map here, the proposed use map, to recall specifically the number of apartments, the number of single-family homes, the number of.
Do you recall the number for Hillside?
And then just a process question, what would be the next step for this development in terms of process if this is passed?
So what you have that's filed before you is the initial concept plan that would have been a part of the development agreement that was approved back in 2024, but understanding that there has been no construction plat approved. So we would go back to the development agreement language and make sure that the unit numbers were what you accepted. I want to say this one was, that's abstract. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't help you.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get the number. Everything will go back to the original development agreement and the number of units, and we would confirm that before bringing forward any construction plat. But there's still an opportunity. You have neither the developer from TERS number 6 or TERS 7 has given any updates since the last development agreement. 429, so you have 654 lots. That looks like phase 2. Mm-hmm. So it's total 429, yeah. Ranging from 2.5 acre sites to half acre.
The majority of them would be the garden homes.
You also have the
Yes,
garden,
I recall.
yeah.
All right, so this is creating the TERS, we're not adopting any of this, but, right. Yep. Okay,
And so the developer, if the TERS is approved, would the concept would it allow for the concept plan to change, or not unless it comes back in front of council because of the current development agreement?
That's correct. What is in here tonight, this concept plan is based on the development agreement. So if there are modifications to this that exceed any of the limitations in the development agreement, they would come back for a development agreement amendment. This concept plan is primarily here as part of this preliminary plan to show what are the proposed uses. But yeah, certainly, this TERS would not bind them to this concept plan. That development agreement is really what would be the enforcement mechanism.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Raylan, I have a question. I'm just kind of concerned because I know this area is going to be concentrated when you think about 429. I just want to know that you guys are going to work hard, get us the best project. When I look at traffic, all those types of things in that area, you're going to make sure that you.
You know, we are breaking open every single development agreement we have. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, are you all right over there? What are we doing? Should I wait? Do you need, you're okay? Okay. I'm just concerned for you a little bit. All right. Okay, great, thank you. So, again, this is a discuss and consider, this is ordinance number 3156. Council, is there a motion?
Mayor and council, I make a motion to approve ordinance 3156.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, District 4, a second from Donna Renee Anderson, our Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 2, to approve ordinance number 3156 as presented. Is there any further discussion?
I'd just like to say something.
Yes.
I like the discussion that we have. I like the tension in the conversation. And I just want to say that if we don't have these discussions, we can't hash it out. And I appreciate citizen involvement most of all. I like the tension. I like people that come up and step forward. Keeps us vulnerable and open. And so I don't think I'm learning, I'm new enough to keep learning that what drives us what drives what we do, is trying to survive the tsunami of our legislation and land use, which we need to be prepared for.
Right. Agreed. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of the president. Our next item on the agenda is 4.3, conduct a public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed creation of the reinvestment zone contained approximately 505.15 acres of land generally located north of Texas Highway 34, south of County Road 321, west of County Road 320, and east of FM 986, and being wholly located within the corporate city limits and extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city of Terrell, Texas. Again, Raylan Smith.
Again, we have Jordan here if you have any technical questions regarding the finance plan, but just to kind of give you an overview, this is a 44-year term, TERS. This is 505 acres inside the city limits of Terrell, and this is attached to a previous development agreement.
All right. Anything new to add on this item?
Yeah, I can just go through just the financing terms.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
to clarify on this one. So again, we said 44 years. It is also on a 30-year term basis, so each phase only lasts for 30 years of that. Talked to the developer recently. They're planning, I think they're supposed to develop the first homes here. They said probably 3 or 4 more years. So that's where they are in the development process. Again, this was part of the this is a development agreement signed in January 2025. This TERS was part of that was agreed to. And then one thing I didn't go into a little bit earlier, but just on TERSs broadly, statutorily, TERSs cannot be created if more than 50% of the city's taxable value is inside a TERS. At this point, based on prior TERSs, that amount is likely to be exceeded next year. And so that's part of the reason, the impetus of why all 3 of these are coming tonight and on the next agenda is so that those 3 can be created as part of, prior to any cap limits. And so really, those development agreements that were previously signed, that's also part of what's driving that. So here, 44-year term, 50% of the M&O, just like the other pieces, a little bit longer on the term, but again, on that phase specific, approximately $190 million in new tax revenues. 50% of that, again, goes to the city on day one, or day,
build out.
as build out occurs. And then 50% of that from the M&O side is in the TERS fund, also a TERS PID buy down. And again, that's very similar terms on all the other ones.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any new questions? No, if not, we will open the public hearing to receive public comment on the creation of the reinvestment zone contained approximately 505.15 acres of land generally located north of Texas Highway 34, south of County Road 321, and west of County Road 320, east of FM 986. Is there anyone who would wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to 4.4.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3157, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, designating a geographic area partially within the city and partially within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city as a tax increment reinvestment zone pursuant to Chapter 311 of the Texas Tax Code to be known as Reinvestment Zone Number 7, City of Terrell, Texas, describing the boundaries of the zone, creating a board of directors for the zone, and appointing members of the board, establishing a tax increment fund, TERS Number 7 Fund, for the zone containing findings related to the creation of the zone, providing a date for the termination of the zone, providing that the zone take effect immediately upon passage of the ordinance, and providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Raylan?
We went ahead and blew up those numbers while we were sitting over there. Just to let you know, this is 999 single-family lots. They're ranging from 40 feet to an acre and a half. You currently have 790 units that are considered garden pods, so that would be almost your multifamily. They're 3-unit pods. And we also have 30 acres of commercial. just like with the previous development agreement. When the developer comes forward and they want to discuss or reinstate the development agreement and actually start presenting construction plats, any of those changes would come forward to you as an amendment.
Does anybody have any questions for Raylan?
That's
So,
some concerns.
oh, go
Do
ahead.
your best work
Yes,
on
ma'am.
traffic and congestion. Reroute, do something.
Yes, ma'am.
Same here. And just for clarification, if we approve all the TERSs tonight, we're pretty much TERSed out, right?
Yes, sir.
There's no more TERSs.
We are out.
And so
We're
the
done.
thought is that at this point, you've got so many areas of the city now that are encompassed in TERS. It's easy to look at it like, okay, one area is getting a benefit, but really, most of the city is in its own TERS now. So it's not like we're just having one area getting all the benefit. It's really being spread around. So like we said, downtown has a TERS. There's a TERS on the south end of town. There's a TERS, lots of TERSs. So I would encourage our citizens to think of it in terms of an additional funding mechanism. It's not necessarily sort of playing favorites to an area, although, I do want to make sure going forward that staff thinks through that aspect that, we don't want to tie up our funding in cases where we'd like to have that money spent in the city as a whole. But since these are pretty much our final TERSs, I guess it's kind of a bridge we've already crossed, so.
Well, and I think also, I've learned so much from Jordan. He's a great TERS teacher. When you go out and you create these TERS, it is an overlay on unimproved property. So yes, you are maxed out. You've looked at your city limits, you've looked at your ETJ, and these are the possible developments for your city. And so now you have.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't TERSs typically cause pretty significant increases in property values in those areas commonly, right?
Yeah, definitely, that's what we see in the TERSs, is historically, those are designed to be over areas that are generating increment. And again, that's part of the carrot of a TERS, is you say, developer, if you come in and you grow this area, that is generating those TERS dollars either.
Kind of
a lot more-
incentivizes them to create a good area that doesn't
Exactly.
get dilapidated.
And that's the best way we see it, is it's a way to incentivize growth. And I will say, the reason the city, we're at that capped out point is because of the success of the prior TERSs, especially the downtown TERS, especially some of the other sides of the TERSs. Those have generated so much revenue, and those were created a while back, that's where we're at because of those successes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Are we,
Yes, ma'am.
this is for Raylan. Basically, we are surrounded right now by TERS, right? We're pretty much surrounded.
Yeah,
So we have say-so over this surrounding us.
yes.
We
yes,
will
ma'am.
not have say-so over what is beyond that.
No, ma'am. In fact, now even properties within your ETJ, they can choose to remove themselves from the ETJ, which you do have plating authority, but now we have people who are asking to be removed out of your ETJ.
Well, I'm talking, in relation to land, we have more land around us or away from us that someone can drop something, a developer can put something out there.
And it would
which
have to
would
follow our
somehow
regulations,
affect
yeah.
us. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you've got now,
Did you have?
Councilwoman, is a checkerboard is what it is.
So
Someone's
I'll-
in, someone's out.
Council.
I will turn my thought into a question. For any of the developments that we have, should they come back and the developer wants to redo the concept plan, something that I appreciate, or a couple, there's a number of things that I like about this particular development. Because when I hear about, it's, what was done here is something that sometimes we've missed. In the city of Terra, I may hear Stephanie Holmes Thomas, council member, mention the need for a grocery store or a fuel station on the northern part of the city. But this development will encompass that. It also, it's an example of the commercial the commercial aspect that comes along with this development. It also includes an area for a school campus. And then it also touches just about, unless we're missing one, for each of the 5 different areas of income level housing that we either have, that we have two less of, whether it's low income, extra low income, that moderate, has some moderate, or needing some higher level income housing, that the housing study says. So I'd like to see more of the garden-style pods, because I think it will provide an opportunity for our community members that are looking to downsize, or they want their own private space. And as much as they love their family, they might want their own private
Sometimes
space.
we want to get away, yeah.
Yeah. So my ask and my goal would be to have more developments that encompass those facilities around them. So thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate that feedback. It helps us know.
Okay. Thank you for those comments. Anyone else? All right, this is a discuss and consider item. It's ordinance number 3157. Item 4.4, is there a motion on ordinance 3157?
Motion to approve ordinance number 3157.
A motion, is there a second? Second. We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, District 3, a second from Stephanie Holm Thomas, District 4, to approve ordinance number 3157 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 4.5, conduct a public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed creation of a reinvestment zone contained of approximately 2,061.61 acres of land generally located north of Highway 80, west of Texas Highway 34, east of Texas 205, and south of Club Lake, and being located partially within the corporate limits and partially within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city of Terrell, Texas. Again, Raylan Smith.
So we have been talking in and around TERS number 8. I just wanted to kind of close with the community that's here. We've had several meetings here at City Hall. And I want to reiterate what I hope they're hearing over and over again, and I'm going to quote Mr. Mills. It is that we hear you as staff, we hear you, the city council, we hear the community members. I know it's very frustrating during public hearings when no one can say anything back, but those comments are definitely taken to heart. I get to tell some of my friends sitting out here, I not only was born and raised here, but I'm also living in the neighborhood that's impacted by this. And so as city staff, I want to tell you that we make sure we are checking boxes and we are listening and we are trying to do our job better every day. So I hope tonight's presentation helped in the community. I know that we need to rebuild some trust, and so I just hope through this process and with future developments that the community starts feeling better about what we're presenting and what we're bringing forward to you.
Thank you, Raylan.
Mayor and council, good seeing you again. So yeah, just some of the financing terms for this TERS number 8. This is over a little over 2,000 acres. That includes 700 acres of property that's currently in the ETJ that the developer, as part of this negotiation, is agreeing to annex. So that's a big part of that piece, is that bringing that 700 acres in. It also includes about 500 acres of property that's outside of the development that the city identified as either future development areas or specific areas that they want to focus projects on. So this one specifically, with understanding we were approaching the cap, the intent was to get as much city property that we could develop in the future that could be something that would benefit the city specifically into this TERS. So this TERS, it's tied to the Terra Nova development, but it is 500 acres bigger than that. So that is a part I wanted to mention. The anticipation is about just a little under $2 billion in revenues generated in that TERS. Again, 50% of that coming to the city on a overall basis. Each of those come in the phase. The end result is about $6 billion of incremental value to the city over that 6-year TERS. So happy to answer any other questions. I think we've talked about that one but wanted to give those numbers as well.
Has anybody got any new questions? No. Or anything, clarify, comment? Questions?
So I do want to, I want to make sure that I ask this question because I think this is something that is on a lot of people's minds. The annexation piece of this, right? So that everyone understands kind of how, what this means and, sort of all the ins and outs of it. If our city did not move forward with annexing this area voluntarily, then the developer could potentially build anything they wanted in that area with no oversight from the city. The city would receive no tax revenue.
Yep.
And we would have no, public safety oversight, no utilities oversight. It would just be kind of its own island there that we'd have no say-so over, correct?
That's correct. And more than that, as Raylan was mentioning earlier, our friends in the legislature have made it such that property owners in the ETJ could request to be removed from the ETJ. So even any of the limited powers that a city has over its ETJ right now could be removed while they stayed in the ETJ.
And the reason I bring that up is because I know that we often hear the cautionary tale of some surrounding communities that have similar situations. There's one that involves some structures that are wind-powered that will remain nameless. And those areas sometimes have become burdensome on their community because they're adjacent to their town, but yet cause a public safety burden and other burdens with no tax benefit from them being there. So that's one of the things I think we need to make sure we are clear about with regard to why we're pursuing a voluntary annexation of that area. I think that's key. A lot of hard decisions play into some of this, a lot of cost-benefit analysis, kind of weighing the pros and cons. But, for me, I ask the questions because I think that they're pertinent. I think that a 60-year TERS is a bit of a mortgage on the future. I think it's a bit long. That's why I'm going to have trouble supporting that 60-year TERS. But I do think overall, as it stands, there's, as far as the other aspects of some of this agreement, especially the voluntary annexation, is important to the future of the city. That's what I have to say.
No, and again, I'll just reiterate what I've said before. There's no perfect deal. I wish there were, and there's no easy decisions if you're a mayor or councilor and been elected to this board to represent those who live within the city limits. I applaud each and every one of you for standing up for what you believe and what you think. I've always said we don't suppress thoughts and we don't suppress ideas up here. And in the end, you're going to have to live with the decision you make and your vote, and that's all good and fine. But here's the other thing that I want to touch on that our Councilwoman Donna Renee Anderson briefly mentioned is that we do have discussions, and sometimes they're heated, and sometimes you see them and witness them here in the council chambers, but they're just as, not aggressive, but just as engaging to each other one-on-one that people don't see. But when you know that, as mayor, I can appreciate more the council's decision to move forward as a unit, right? Supportive or not supportive of something, and once the vote's taken, it's done, it's over, and we're on to the next deal. So I just thank you for being able to do that.
Mayor, if I may say one additional thing, I think this is important to note. Sure. I worry sometimes that our citizens don't think that we're hearing their concerns, that they don't feel that we're listening to their thoughts and taking them into consideration and addressing them. I want our citizens to know that the development agreement for this particular project has been modified several times over based on feedback from citizens in major ways to accommodate the specific concerns that have been expressed. I also want to make sure that it's understood that some of the concerns that are expressed in public hearing, things like we're not worried about a hospital, we're not worried about those kinds of things, might be a little off topic for what we're discussing right now, but I do think it's important to note that, what we hear from hospital systems is that we don't have the demographics and the population in order to get a hospital here. Every time we talk to one, every time. And so, you know, this is just the simple truth of the matter. And so when you have a high-quality situation here, a development that could potentially get us closer to that, you know, sometimes there's a cost-benefit analysis of going, is this good for our community? Because most people want a hospital to come here, and you think, okay, here's a way to get us there. We're listening to your concerns, but sometimes the paths to get to where you want to be may result in some things that you're not as happy about. But that's just kind of how this stuff plays out.
No, I agree.
And, so, is it my turn?
You may.
Okay. I thank you for the numbers that really don't care. You know, I'm the person that sits on the council that goes, yeah, okay, about the numbers. So, thinking big, I pay attention to things like Tax Code, Chapter 311, Article 3, Section 52 of the Texas Constitution. Bless our legislature. That guides how a city, whether we like it or not, is going to do business. Last time I checked, we were a republic, and I think the republic needs to become a republic. That being said, I continue learning that if I can hold something at bay with a TERS, then I'm going to hold you at bay, if that's the only weapon that I have. So that's me fighting back. But I agree with all of us that we have come to a decision that our citizens need to know that when you come up and speak to us, we hear you. There will be a study done. There will be, these things have been addressed. Thank you for all the numbers that you crunch. Thank you to the staff that negotiates where just it's a business and it's a touch and go situation. Thank you, Mark. But Article 3, Section 52 of the Texas Constitution, those are the things I pay attention to. Because I pay attention to those things, I understand why we're having this conversation, because we're having this conversation because this is the only stick we have to surround us. So, thank you. Oh, that's
you.
my medicine. Sorry.
Must be 7:30, right? Yep.
There you go.
Hey, okay, thank you. All right, this is a public hearing. At this time, we will open the public hearing to receive public comments on the proposed creation of the reinvestment zone contained approximately 2,061 and .61 acres of land generally located north of Highway 80, west of Texas Highway 34, east of Texas 205, and south of Club Lake. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Move on to item 4.6.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3158, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, designating a geographic area partially within the city and partially within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city as a tax increment reinvestment zone pursuant to Chapter 311 of the Texas Tax Code, to be known as Reinvestment Zone Number 8, City of Terrell, Texas, describing the boundaries of the zone, creating a board of directors for the zone, and appointing members of the board, establishing a tax increment fund, TERS Number 8 fund for the zone, containing findings related to the creation of the zone, providing a date for the termination of the zone, providing that the zone take effect immediately upon the passage of the ordinance, providing a severability clause, and providing an effective date.
All right, council. Again, this is a discuss and consider ordinance number 3158. Does anyone want to hear from the staff again or have any new questions? Hearing none, is there a motion on ordinance number 3158?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Donna Renee Anderson, our Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 2, a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District 3, to approve ordinance number 3158 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 3-1. Our next item on the agenda is 4.7, conduct a public hearing to receive comment public comment on the proposed annexation of approximately 712.20 acres of land located in the city's extraterritorial jurisdiction and adjacent and contiguous to the city of Terrell, Texas, and extending the boundaries of limits of said city to include described property within the corporate limits of the city of Terrell. Raylan.
What you have before you is the ordinance, and this is to conduct a public hearing. This is a voluntary annexation request from the property owners collectively that you know as Terra Nova Development. This is 712 acres that is just outside the city limits, and their request is to be annexed in. This is also included in your TERS number 8.
Again, this is a voluntary
Yes, sir.
annexation. All right. Is there, this is a public hearing. So at this time, the mayor will open the public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed annexation, voluntary annexation of approximately 712.20 acres of land located in the city's extraterritorial jurisdiction adjacent and continuous of the city of Terrell, Texas. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this matter? If you would, please come forward. So at public hearing, we're here to hear remarks, not answer questions, but go ahead.
And it may have already been answered and I missed it. If the annexation is volunteer, if they don't volunteer, will the city go after them with eminent domain? That's my question, y'all.
Oh, yeah, I know. Okay, thank you for your comments, yeah. All right, anyone else? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Move on to 4.8. Go ahead, Gary.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we bring to you tonight ordinance number 3155, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, annexing an approximately 712.20 acres of land located in the city's extraterritorial jurisdiction and adjacent and contiguous to the city of Terrell, Texas, as described and/or depicted in Exhibit A, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein for all purposes, and extending the boundary limits of said city so as to include the hereinafter described property within the corporate limits of the city of Terrell, Texas, granting to all the inhabitants of said property all the rights and privileges of the citizens of the city of Terrell, binding said inhabitants by all of the city's acts, ordinances, resolutions, and regulations of said city, providing for amending and correcting the official boundaries of the city of Terrell, Texas, as heretofore adopted, providing that the city manager and the city staff to undertake certain actions relative to said annexation, providing a severability clause, and providing for said ordinance to take effect and be enforced from and after its passage.
All right, is there any questions of staff on ordinance number 3155?
I just think I have a question.
Yes.
To clarify.
Okay.
So this is a voluntary annexation. They want to come into the city? That's the property owner has that desire to come in,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they filed a petition.
and it's voluntary?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And that's for every single shred of the property, every foot of the property is
Yes.
all being voluntarily annexed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a petition by the property owner.
Mark, I see you wanting to say something. Go ahead.
And if they were not to voluntarily annex, we would not go after them.
And it would be illegal at this point, right? You can't even, you can't even do that anymore. No.
Okay, is there a motion on ordinance number 3155?
So move.
We have a motion, is there a second? We have a motion from Donna Renee Anderson, our Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 2, a second from Phil Robinson, our Mayor Pro Tem of District 5, to approve ordinance number 3155 as presented. Is there any further discussion?
I just want to clarify too.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, if this passes, they'll have to follow the rules related to what we do, and they'd have to adhere to our building standards and what we ask. Where if they didn't, they would be outside, and they wouldn't have to adhere to our rules and regulations.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda are boards and commissions. Discuss and consider airport board appointment. This is our city secretary, Don Stahl. I will save her some time and request from the council, if I may, a motion. I'll make the motion to what am I doing? Postpone item 5.1. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from the mayor, a second from everyone else, I think. No. I'll say Stephanie Holmes Thomas, our District 4 representative, to postpone until our next meeting. Yeah, item 5.1. Is there any further discussion? I'll just add, council, what the delay in the airport is, I'm trying to find someone who has a plane that's vested in the airport to appoint, and I'm working on that. And as soon as I can find someone, I'll bring that forward to the council for your consideration. So I thank you for allowing me to postpone. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 5.2, discuss facilities naming committee update.
Mayor, council, this evening, this is just a discussion item. We have a 9-member naming committee. Currently, we have one member for District 2, who is Devonna Thomas, who has indicated she would like to not be reappointed to the committee because of other obligations. For District 5, Steve Huey has also indicated he would not be seeking reappointment. We will bring this item back to you at the November meeting and in the December meeting if necessary. Each member serves a 1-year term, so we're going to be asking you to reappoint all of the members except the 2 vacant positions, unless you would like to make a change. You would have the option at that point, but we'll bring this back to you in November and December until we get the committee reappointed. And again, we for sure will have 1 vacancy in District 2 and 1 with District 5. All other members have indicated that they wish to continue to serve.
Okay. Councilwoman Anderson, are you aware of Donna?
I don't mind postponing, but
It's just discussion,
This is
but I
just
just want,
discussion.
were you aware of Ms. Thomas wanting to
not
vacate?
until I read the agenda.
Okay. Also, District 5, were you, Steve?
I wasn't aware, and I'm going to have a good talking to with Steve.
All right, well, y'all got a couple of appointees there, and we'll do that November?
We'll bring it back to you in November, and if you don't have a replacement at that point, we'll also bring it back in December. That's not an issue.
All right.
But at one point, we will have to ask you all to approve all of the members because they only serve 1-year terms.
Got it. Okay, wonderful, thank you. Our next item on the agenda is discuss upcoming meetings. This is Mark Mills.
So I have a wild idea that I'd like to run by all of you. We have a city council meeting on November the 4th. We are currently scheduled to have one on November the 18th. I'm going to propose to you all for your consideration not having the meeting on the 18th for 2 reasons. One is beginning on the 11th. We had included in the FY26 budget the replacement of the visual equipment in the city council chambers to improve the broadcast. They're going to begin the installation of that on Tuesday, November the 11th. So if we can we not have the second meeting in November, that will make sure that they have enough time to get the system in, tested, and make sure that we're ready for the December meeting. In addition, with the Thanksgiving holiday being the following week, we wanted to make sure that both council and staff had an opportunity to take a little bit of time and plan travel around that. For the December meeting, we are scheduled to have a meeting on December the 2nd. Likewise, we would propose to you all to cancel the meeting on the 16th, again, so to accommodate any council travel or holiday plans as well as staff.
Okay.
So have the meeting on the 2nd, but not the one on the 16th.
Correct. For December, we would have one meeting in November, which would be November the 4th, and one meeting in December, which would be December the 2nd.
Are y'all good with that?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Well, hey, wait a minute now.
I'm highly in favor. I'm super in favor
Before
of
everybody
this.
gets too excited, remember that during the holidays, there's all kinds of events going on within the city. So I'm going to ask Allison to please make sure that our calendars for public appearances are on there, and would say, do your best to make those.
Yes.
I do have information regarding the Christmas parade, right? typically how we do the Christmas parade for the council is each one of us have a vehicle. This year, I think that we're going to change that up, and the council,
Tank.
well, it won't be a tank, but it will be a float. And we'll have the mayor and the council all on one float, and free up some space for the parade. But that way, if anybody does boo, we won't know who they're booing at. I'm sure it'll
Oh,
be
man,
the mayor,
what's the
but-
fun in that?
but we can all deflect to each other. No, I'm just lighthearted. I'm just saying, the parade, what we'll do is we'll have the council as a unit on one float, united, and hopefully the float's big enough that if we want to bring family, you can. The kids love to see Henry on it if he's not somewhere else, but,
He'd be into it.
okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Can I say
Hey,
something about
yes,
the
ma'am.
calendar? I want to thank the staff. I've been on council for 1 year and 4 months, and you all have been exemplary in the work you have done. You have worked diligently, exceptionally, effectively, through good, bad, and ugly, and I appreciate you. The reason I'm excited about having one council meeting is because I am very much aware what it's like to put the effort you put into putting in 400 pages for an agenda that I have 1 week to read. And you all do the work. I don't read my emails until I have insomnia, and then I'm responding to you at 3 o'clock in the morning. I say all that because you all are doing more than we could ever ask or think. And I appreciate Mark and Bernie. Bang up job, guys. And at the end of the year, you should not have to do anything except be concerned with you and your families and your health and your well-being. My work experience is mostly overseas, and from October to January 15th, nothing usually gets done if you live on an island in the middle of the ocean. So I am in agreement to one meeting in November because the charter says we have to have at least one. And in December because it's the end of the year and we need to celebrate you, each of you, and your families. And I want to say thank you. Thank you. And I will be due diligent to show up to all social activities and smile.
Can we get her a tank for the parade?
Yeah, right, yeah.
I know a guy.
And holly jolly music.
Yep. All right, next on the agenda is 6.1, receive good news report. This is going to be Allison Walker.
Love good news.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I love my job because I just get the good news. Okay, yeah. Well, we've already celebrated this, obviously, but Cheryl Tigers are 7-0, and
Yeah.
Hey.
so that was great. All right, so continuing. You can see that we have several new employees across the city in different departments. Fire is, I guess, catching up with police, and the library has some new employees as well. And we also have 3 rehires, so that says a lot about the city if people want to come back. Then you can see Michael Bulin, Captain Michael Bulin celebrated his retirement after 23 years of service, so we wish him well. Here's a highlight from Hispanic Heritage Month.
They had good music.
Yes, they did. That was September the 15th through through October the 15th. And there's some shots from their second annual celebration at the shops at Terrell. Again, here's a celebration of our zip line delivery on National Bubblegum Day. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody's humor and dressing in pink for me. And we got a book for the library for their new Pages and Play Center that we hope to have open soon at the shops at Terrell. And we also got a video today that Zipline sent us, and we are highlighted along with some other cities about having our delivery. We had a record of 24 orders on the first day, so that's something to celebrate. And even though we were the very last city in the video, I told them, you saved the best for last. So anyway, I'll be sending that out so that y'all can watch it. Here are some photos from the ceremony that was held in Washington, D.C. at the British Embassy. The mayor attended this with Bill Hutmaker, and he was awarded this medal for all of his work on the #1 BFTS museum. So that's quite an honor. Next, we would like to thank the Facilities Naming Committee and also Connie Christensen, who brought this idea forward to honor one of the soldiers from Terrell that was killed in Iraq back in 2005. And this actually was held on the 20th anniversary of his death. So his mother was very excited and honored. As you can see, we had a huge crowd there. We had intended just to shut down one street, but we ended up shutting down two, but it was for a great cause, and they're still talking about how excited they were on that. There's our 3 students from this year for Leadership Kaufman County. Mayor Pro Tem Donna Renee Anderson, Blake Mays, and Brianna Santana. And Donna, do you want to talk about your experience?
I did not die.
She did not die. We're thankful.
I did play in the grass. I did not get on the poles,
Okay,
but it was a learning experience.
there you go. So,
What polls? What do you say? Polls?
I did not do I did not go up there.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, I'm sorry.
It did remind me, though, when I was in Squadron Officer School, I got the Kamikaze Award. I did not get the Kamikaze Award this time.
okay. Anyway,
Very good team player.
we really need those pictures. So, anyway. There's just some pictures from our mural walk. We had a couple of new things this year. We had an individual that was painting the Iris Theater sign in celebration of its 100-year history. And then we also had Rocco the Snake. All the kids from the middle school and I guess some other schools joined in as well and painted this. And the snake will be relocated to a nursing home. So if it hasn't already, this week, I think. Anyway. Then you can see 2 anniversaries that we had last week. We had the Nucor Building Group had their 25th anniversary, and then also American National Bank had their 150th anniversary. So that was a great celebration for both of those in spite of the weather. I think they had to shut down a little bit early on Saturday. Here's some pictures from the Terrell Tiger Hall of Fame luncheon. Among the honorees was Donna's mother, our former mayor, Mayor Anderson, and Donna's father, the late Colonel Abby Anderson. So that was great. They were inducted into the Hall of Honor. And then Stephanie, I believe that was your niece, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So congrats to all the 2025 inductees.
Great.
Then the chamber had their auction. And these are the city employees on the left who volunteered for this event. This is a great community partnership. And then All of these elected officials and groups that you see on the right work really hard to creatively make donations to the auction each year. And you can see the girl in the background there. That look is the look that Jimmy Cooper had when he found out that that dog was going home with Angie Cooper. I'm not sure whether Jim Cooper still has a home, but I think the dog does. Anyway, and the Animal Adoption Center will receive the money that was made off of that item, so that's great. And her new name is Daisy. Yes. So. And here's a picture from Councilman Velasquez. She can maybe reiterate something about this, but she attended this Emergency Preparedness Institute in El Paso. She was one of 65 leaders from 15 states, and she brought information from our emergency management coordinator regarding a push for elected officials to have to complete emergency management training. And I understand that the senator that she's pictured with here, he's already pushing for that to happen, so.
He is. I don't know if I didn't hear any excitement about, additional trainings to be completed. But something that, Dustin Connor's always looking for, whether it's grants or opportunities to better serve our community, and in terms of emergency management and all things fire too. And so before I went to the emergency management training, I reached out to hear, what would resonate with him in terms of bringing back information or anything he would like for me to share. And just, training for elected officials was something that he mentioned. And Senator Cesar Blanco serves on I'm not sure what it's titled, but something along emergency management. So there is a bill that he has, but it would require either like a community's mayor, city's mayor, or their designee only to complete that training. But it was, in my head, because we have so much work due to the, 150 years community that we are, and all the aging infrastructure and the new infrastructure. And sometimes it feels like we do work to our open stormwater, or what we call ditches, or other areas of our water, stormwater, sewer, and it just never seems to be enough or done the right way. And so I had that on my mind, but we were able to learn and talk a lot more about even whether it's data centers and how it affects economic development, or, the AI world that we live in. So just a lot more broader than what I was visualizing going in with stormwater, sewer, and potentially tornadoes and trail derailment. So it was a lot of good information to learn and bring back.
Thank you. Okay, and there's the picture from Donna at the T that she was referring to earlier. And actually, I have known Flo during that entire tenure. She used to run a Relay for Life team when we both worked at the state hospital together. So that's a great event that she started to bring awareness to breast cancer. Then, if y'all haven't done this yet, we are in the running for the best renovation and rehabilitation and restoration of a downtown business for Hummingbird Place. And so, if you haven't done it already, please go to Historic Downtown Terrell and cast your vote for our project. And the deadline to vote is tomorrow. So, which is tomorrow? Okay. The Heritage Car Show, this was on October the 4th, and the reason that I included this is because I think Raylan made reference to this last time. We are going to work real hard on combining all of the things that are great about these downtown events between the Mural Walk and the Car Show and also the British Bash, and then we'll be coming forward next year with the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles event to celebrate our combined legacy. But wait, there's more. Okay, so on the left, you'll see the gala that is Friday night that y'all spoke about earlier. On Saturday, the Cross County Ministers Coalition and McIntyre Community Church are hosting their third annual Church Resource Connection and Festival Day. That's from noon to 8, and the mayor is scheduled to speak at 2. We hope to have one of our fire engines out there as well, and it'll be just some community resources that our residents can take advantage of. Then TML will be the mid to end of next week in Fort Worth. Nicole has organized a blood drive on November the 10th from 7:30 to 2 at City Hall. So get with her if you'd like to participate in that. And then on the right are the two events that Councilman Velasquez referred to earlier. The library event starts at 5:30, and the downtown trick or treat is from 5 to 7. Okay. The British Bash, that comes up on November the 8th, and we made the Texas Town and City magazine. So there we are. There's the mayor with the band.
Well, excuse me, Allison, one of the band members is good friends with Phil. Which one is
Yes.
it?
So Mr. Stockslager on the far right is my best childhood friend. Known him since third grade.
Yeah, he told me some stories about you too. man.
I've got some stories about him
FYI.
as well.
I bet y'all do, yeah.
So hopefully it's not as cold as the year that picture was taken, because that was not fun. Okay, last but not least, Terrell Police Department has done this for a number of years, and they asked City Hall to join them this year to be a drop-off point for the holiday food drive. So we already have a collection bin in our lobby, and as you can see, there's the other drop-off locations, and we would appreciate anybody that can participate in that, and that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. A lot going on.
Thank you.
I just want to make sure I get to sleep tonight. My brother was inducted as well. So it was a daughter-dad duo. I just want to tell you, team.
Yeah.
All right,
Saw that.
so I won't get a call.
Well deserved.
All right, thank you, Allison. Our next item on the agenda is discuss and consider proposed amendments to the 9th Street Creekside Development Agreement related to the construction of sidewalks along 9th Street, Ben Gill Park to Creekside Housing Addition. Again, Raylan Smith. Oh, okay, Chris Snap.
Chris now.
Not as good looking anyway.
How about them eggs?
No. So I won the short straw this time. We've talked sidewalks for a good while. The last meeting, I was sitting, not thinking about this place. I know that's sad to hear, but I was on a beach having a good time. So let's talk sidewalks, and what I want to do is I've added a slide to, and there we go. So I have a backup plan. One of the things that I saw, just to show everybody, this is just an overview, but we talked last time about the sidewalks, about where they're at, located, what's part of the Creekside Agreement, okay? So what I did is I made a map here to kind of help depict what's existing, what's in the agreement, and then some of the hardships that we're looking at. As we talked last time in discussions that Bree and Raylan did, we talked about some of the sidewalks as they move from Colquitt to 9th, to Griffith and on back towards Creekside. The sidewalks are becoming very narrow because the houses are very close. So what I did is on this map here is the red is part of the agreement of Creekside. And they're not, as was stated last time, they're not trying to get out of anything from there. As the staff has sit and talked about these sidewalks, we've heard you loud and clear to put sidewalks, but some of the sidewalks were becoming very near to the road. Some of them were coming very near to the house. So what I did is I looked at the 4 worst properties. And when I say the worst properties, is where we look at the sidewalk, where we add the sidewalk, Now we're going to say, well, how far was the sidewalk to the front of the house or the front of the porch? If you all recall that discussion, we sit there and we go, well, some of them were going to be very close. So I'll show you some examples. This is 101 Oak Drive. As you can see, the faint green line in there is the new proposed sidewalk. And when we do that, there's actually 8 feet between the corner of the end of the sidewalk and the front of the house.
How wide is the sidewalk?
5 foot. So there is one example there. As we get from Griffith and go back towards Creekside, you can see that the hardships were really back there. 301 9th Street. This here is the corner of Colquitt and 9th. They're on the corner. That we've had a lot of discussions. When you look at that sidewalk, you can see there's actually a 9 foot between the edge of the sidewalk and the corner there. So there is one other opportunity. There's been a lot of opportunities talking about that corner lot as turning lanes and things of that nature we could do. This is one area that would go. 701 9th Street. This is where there's 17 feet from the front of the house to the back of the curb. Okay? And then the last one here, 809 9th Street, and there's actually 7 feet. And then when I say, I label these properties B, C, and D, and A, you can see that the B and C, they're further down 9th Street, okay? So, we talked about in an ulterior motive, or as far as ulterior path, alternate path, whatever you want to call it. So, Raylan proposed to you last time when we met is to make a route that comes around and comes back. And so everything in the gray area and the pink area is existing sidewalks. So basically, we could have this part of the Creekside Agreement sidewalk, have them build the yellow right here, and you could have a full path all the way back. And would get some of it off 9th Street. Because the further you go down 9th Street, you're going to have sidewalks very close to the road. And we all are familiar with 9th Street. Some of them fly down that road. So that's some of the alternatives that we were talking about doing. As the red, it was just going to go to Elm Street anyway. It was not going to go any further. That was part of the agreement of Creekside that was signed several years back. So,
I like the markings on your map.
well, as I saw the, I went back and watched the video and some of the questions y'all had, and I could see a disparity of trying to picture what was actually in there. Several of you made the comment, I've got to go drive that street to get familiar with that, to see how close the sidewalk was to the side of the road.
So, if I may, so Chris, my feeling about it is, and I have driven that road countless times and really put eyes on the challenges in putting a sidewalk there. I know there are challenges, and I know we've got some really narrow areas there, but my concern is, let's say we do create this alternate route here, an alternate sidewalk. Kids are still going to be walking down 9th Street. Kids don't care about taking some alternate path through a neighborhood. My concern is, sure, maybe it's close to the street, but we have kids every single day. This is a main thoroughfare to get from school to school, from their house to either over to Brucewood or over to, Herman Furlow or over to the high school. And we've got them walking in the street every day. Huge groups just walking down 9th Street. We need them off the street because we are looking at a potential serious safety hazard. That's a busy street, and with kids walking on the road, one is going to get hit eventually, and it's going to be on us because we've been raising the alarm about this safety situation on 9th Street forever. It's got to be addressed, and I don't think creating some alternate, there's another sidewalk somewhere else, they're not going to care. They're going to walk their typical path down 9th Street, and they'll be in the street. So to me, I think we And I know they're not trying to back out of their agreement with us to build a sidewalk, but I say we hold to the original agreement. I know it's challenging, but this is one I think we need to rise to. Let's rise to this challenge and get this situated to where we have a good walking path on 9th, one way or another. I think, to me, that's very, very key to ensuring the safety of our students. And I know it's challenging, but this is one I think we've got to say, we got to do it anyway. We got to figure this one out.
So I got a question. On 9th Street, on Griffith Street, what size of sidewalk is on Griffith Street?
5 foot,
It's a 5 foot? Okay, so that's the size we're talking about.
yes.
When it comes to, Mayor Pro Tem brings up a good point. Either they're gonna be in the street or they're gonna be close to the street. If we put the sidewalk, they'll be close to the street, but they won't be in the street, which is some improvement. And I agree, it is gonna be challenging. Is there money cost associated with it that the council needs to be aware of as we move forward with the project?
So as we progress from Elm Street all the way back, yes, there will be some additional land that would have to be to obtain to get that right of way.
right of way.
Put that right.
we don't
sidewalk.
own.
That's correct.
But again, we're talking about safety.
Well, was that ironed out when the agreement was signed?
No, from the standpoint, even with the agreement that was in the red, we still have to obtain that part of that land.
But the developer would not have they wouldn't incur any of the cost of obtaining the land for the right-of-way?
No,
So we still have to purchase the land. All that the developers agreed to do is put down the concrete,
yes,
To put in the sidewalk.
but not actually obtaining the right-of-way area for the land.
yeah,
But we have to do that with any new
right.
sidewalk. So, I just wanted to let you know, in transparency, what we're looking at. But again,
I understand the need for sidewalks. I drive down 9th Street, Colquitt all the way to State. When school lets out, I know we would like the children to use sidewalks. I don't know, children are going to be children. If we have sidewalks, they may use them. However, they may not. And I know that this is an agreement that we have, but I don't know how it can be tenable. Meaning, if that green line is the sidewalk, and it's that close to the street, we put in sidewalks, but now they're close to the street. So we're talking about middle school children. And now it's still close to the road. If there's a way for us to, and if we reroute it, it's for the development, it's not for the children. Because whether we have sidewalks or not, they are going to be in the street at 4:30. And I don't want to belay the issue. I don't believe that is the answer, meaning that sidewalk is on the street.
Councilman, I can tell you that in my district, where there are sidewalks, the kids use them. I see them on the sidewalks.
Okay.
They tend to, they're not walking in the street if there's a sidewalk available and that's as an option to them. And I think that, this is one of those things where to me, it's not even really a district-specific problem, because this is really a main thoroughfare for the whole city, 9th Street, that we need a good walking path for these kids. This is going to benefit all of our districts. And we've already got an option to have, or we've got the benefit of having a developer pay for building it. So while we can, let's try to get this done however we can get it done. I see the challenges. Maybe part of the solution is building a 4-foot sidewalk as opposed to a 5-foot. Or I don't know what the option might be. Maybe there's some ADA compliance issues involved. But I feel like we have to do something to make this work and just rise to that challenge. That's my feeling about it, at least.
so the two options we have is either to build them or not build them. But what I'm looking at is exposure liability for the city. If we choose not to do it, we haven't created a option for these children, right? If we create the option, they choose not to do it, does that put us in a better position if there were a lawsuit. I don't know the answer to that. We need
I
to
don't know
figure
that
that
either.
out.
But we have to acquire the
But-
land from the homeowners,
Yeah,
right?
so I can go back to previous councils and the previous thoughts. We've always wanted a sidewalk on 9th Street, I believe. It's just, we weren't able to figure out how to get it done and how to pay for it. To your point, Mayor Pro Tem, we got somebody who wants to help, you know, and they're not paying for all of it, but they're helping with that process, and then all we have to do is attain the property, which, I don't know what that number is. Does anybody have a guesstimate?
No.
Any kind of ballpark? Based on what we've done here recently? Jana, do you have an idea, maybe? Are we talking about tens of thousands of dollars? We're talking about $100,000? What
Well,
do you think?
there's options out there that you could do. One is to visit with the homeowner to see if they will donate it.
Right.
I'll give you the example there, the one right in front of you, 809 9th Street. That's a driveway, so that's a sloped driveway. So this picture coming out of your driveway, you're gonna come down. I gotta make the sidewalk has to be flat. Then it's got to dive off into the driveway. So it's going to be a stair step that it's going to be a challenge from a design standpoint based off the height of their garage. So there's going to be some obstacles like that. As far as the land cost of all that, I'm going to say there's probably, let's see here, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. There's probably 18 to 19 parcels. Some parcels, as you get past from Griffith to go into Colquitt, the land is very small. In some parcels, there might be 100 square feet that can be donated. But when you get further back from Griffith back to Creekside, there's going to be more. And I'm thinking each parcel is going to be probably, 300 square feet.
This may be opening a can of worms, but have you assessed the east side of the street? Is it just as bad? Is it any better?
It's about the equivalent. So we have about the same obstacle.
And it's the same amount of probably, it's 4.
Because we got some drainage ditches on that side that we got to jump over, which bridges make the price go up. But
Maybe we just do a little on each side and put bridges across the street.
No, we're not. That's expensive, yeah.
Sounds cost effective.
Is there
That's
any
expensive.
land acquisition that's gonna be needed on the alternate route?
as far as on the east side,
The alternate route that
Oh.
you're proposing?
yes.
There'll be land acquisition as well?
Mm-hmm.
Is it more?
Be less,
How much less?
probably about 6 to 7 parcels less.
But again, our objective, Councilwoman, is safety for the kids on 9th Street. I think there's been some concern raised on whether or not the kids are going to take that route. And hey, I appreciate staff. Look, what they're doing is trying to give us options. They're not telling us which way or one way or the other, but making us aware of the challenges that exist on 9th Street. At some point, somebody's going to have to step up and say, we're going to accept the challenge and get it done, and it is what it is, cost is what it is, right? And really, that's what they want to know. What direction do you want us to go? Is that?
Right. So we wanted to, one is, when you talked last time at the meeting, one is to provide an ulterior route that would presumably be, I would say, more safety, but yes, the kids are going to go the least path of resistance. If I can go the shortest distance, and then they're going to go that direction. Going through and making the sidewalk all the way back to Colquitt is going to make some obstacles as far as driveways and widths. So there's going to be more land opportunities and land acquisition type of opportunities there. And then there's a point in the land acquisition that Jana's much more familiar with, that there's going to be a point in time where you take too much, then it becomes another set of obstacles.
Let me ask you this. Okay, this might be crazy thinking, but, okay, when we pass Griffith, we seem like we have a problem north of Griffith. If we crossed over Griffith, we still have the same problem, on the east side of the street, all the way down to east side, Creekside? Do you
Yes,
understand my question?
yes.
After Griffith.
Where B, C, and D is you're talking about?
So if we go to the opposite side of the street?
Yeah,
We still got the same problem. And it's no less, it's the same.
it's about the equivalent,
Yeah.
Councilman.
If you can do it, I'm not against it. If you can do it, going down Ninth, it would be an engineering feat.
Well,
But I think I'm of the, because it's not just the students that will use the sidewalks. It will be people in the neighborhood that do their walking
Right.
of their pets and their, just people out. It will put more foot traffic in areas that are, right now, they can't walk. If you can do it, if the homeowners are agreeable, then let's see if we can try.
Okay,
And
we can do that.
we can try, you know, and then if we meet the homeowner that's like, no, we'll have to do something else, but let's try.
And A, B, C, D are all residences.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm thinking about, the comments made about, for me, it's about the students, right? I think hopefully as adults, we have our judgment, we make our decisions on where to walk and how safe it may be. But maybe the little ones who are walking home may not quite be there yet. I've really been leaning more towards 9th Street because it's a straight shot. But in the proposed option by the developer, it still doesn't cover West State Street. Once you get towards Creekside Estates, it still doesn't get you over to, you still don't have sidewalk on West State Street to get over to the schools. So I'm thinking about like the back and forth that we're having, but yet we're still going to have a gap. As opposed to driving down Walnut Street, kiddos can be on the west side of Poetry Road, walk down those sidewalks, down Walnut Street, and then down Griffith Street, and then back down 9th Street. So at least there's no there's no gap in that route. That's what I do like about that route. I'd love to know if like the developer would be willing to also add in West State Street if we go with 9th Street. But I don't know if that's something he would be open to. But I'm just thinking about connectivity, and if we go with the first option, it still leaves a gap.
And that's why we come forward, is like, we're seeing, it just gets you part of the way. So then we're looking at alternatives, and one is you move towards Creekside, the challenges of the width of the, even if you narrowed it down, you really can't go any lower than 4 feet. That's not going to be acceptable. You're going to have opportunities and problems there. But as you go from there, that's why we brought that forward. And then we looked at alternatives, maybe a different route. So
Well,
we can proceed on forward with what the Creekside agreement is, and go to the Elm Street, and then look at what it's going to take and bring back a proposal of what that cost impact would be for the remaining part.
Just as a quick aside here, I know the owner of letter A very well. He's my next door neighbor, and he would be more than open to whatever we need to get that sidewalk done. I can guarantee you.
You're on record for that.
What's that?
You're on record.
hey,
I'm on record.
Put his name on that part of the sidewalk, please.
Probably do it himself.
Well, no,
So
I guess
if
my,
you're fine with that, we'll proceed on with what the agreement is for Creekside, and then we'll come back to you of what we think the estimated cost of both sides of the road to look at, of what the impact would be from Elm Street to Creekside.
All right,
And then
so,
you-
question for you.
I think you looked at that wrong. Look at where A is. That's by Ben Gill Park. Are you?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
The
I
corner-
know the
the
owner of
corner
that
lot.
residence, and
So,
he'd be fine with us
Question-
ripping it down, probably. Had to.
question of clarity for the council. Is it your opinion, Chris or Janet, that we can get a sidewalk from Creekside all the way to Colquitt? It can be done. Not that it's gonna be easy, but it can be done.
Oh, it can be done.
Okay, then, all right, so then with that answered, I know, but I think what I'm hearing from discussion is they want from Creekside to Colquitt.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm sensing from you,
Yep.
is that we'll proceed on with the agreement sidewalk, and then we'll come back as what the east side would cost to get all the way to Creekside and what the west side would cost, and give you a total OPCC of what we think it's gonna be.
Is that good for everybody?
Good enough?
And is that,
Tell us the engineering obstacles.
Oh,
No,
I
they're
will.
gonna be, they're gonna be
Oh, I
some,
will.
you got the low to the high, you got the slants.
Well, that was the intent, to kind of show you the three worst, fourth worst culprits out there. As you can see, the challenges get back this way.
right,
We're
All
not
right.
trying to be difficult. I'm basically trying to make the best decision based on what we got. And sometimes.
I'm trying to be
pretty,
difficult.
but
Yeah,
thank you for that extra work. Thank you for doing
yeah, and we'll work with you and make that happen. And just gonna let you know, there's opportunities there, but we'll
Okay.
do it.
all right. So with that said, as we're looking at the discussion to consider, we want to move forward with the proposed agreement as amended, or, because this one is saying,
This wouldn't really require any action. I think they want to.
we've already got? Oh, okay.
I don't think there would be any action needed because it's already per the agreement, so we're just gonna be following the agreement
Yeah,
of the Creekside.
so there'd be no action.
All right, so, Don, in order to keep everything clean and neat for you, do you want us to deny the proposed amendments, or do we just don't take any action? You tell us what you want to do. Because it's agenda item. I agree, but can we do that?
Second.
All right, hold on.
Where's your?
All right, 7.1, is there a motion?
I think we just got one.
I move that we take no action on the proposed.
We have a motion, is there a second? We have a motion from Phil Robertson, our Mayor Pro Tem District 5, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, District 4, to take no action on 7.1. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous vote of those present. Next item on the agenda is 7.2, discuss and consider fire department ladder truck motor repair and overhaul. This is our Fire Chief, Shane LaCroix.
Mayor and Council, the Fire Department is requesting approval to move forward with needed major engine repairs on our department's 2017 Smil ladder truck. It's in the amount of $61,020.88. These repairs are needed in order for us to return the apparatus back into service. This was discovered, what was discovered was that we was having an issue with an oil leak and also an alternator problem, so it went into the shop. As it was in there, then Sids Martin was doing the work on the alternator. They repaired that and some batteries, but then they had to send it to Cummins to look at the motor, the leakage of the oil. And that was going to be like a front and rear seal that had to be replaced. So they sent it over to Cummins. When Cummins was tearing it down to do those repairs, they found extensive damage in the motor. They tracked it back to a intake piping that's way down in the motor that you wouldn't normally see until you start taking things off to get down to the to get to these seals. And it had rubbed against another motor mount part and made a small hole. And that vent was right over the, would be the passenger side wheel well. And so as the tires turned, it was picking up debris off the road and sucking it into the motor. And so, when they discovered all that, they stopped and then let us know and then come forward with an estimate on how, for the repairs of that
How soon would they have the repairs done?
in 3 weeks.
All right, so is this in addition to the initial request of 23, or does the 23,000
No, it's just the
included
61.
in the 61?
It's just the 23 was what it was gonna take for the seals,
Right.
but then when they got into it and this happened,
So it's not a total of 84,000, it's
61.
61 total. All right, does anybody have any questions for the chief?
Yes. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I learned to work on engines. So when you and your firefighters park your trucks, I've seen you guys wash them. Is there a maintenance checklist? Check the oil?
yes, ma'am,
You guys do all that?
yes, ma'am.
So when I read there's a hole in the side front wheel well, this is behind the wheel.
It runs close to the
So
wheel
you got
well.
your- You got your
but it's-
wheels, but it's on the inside.
It's on in the motor side, yeah.
And so there's no way we could have checked that out, is there?
No. That's the first thing I was asking about
This
was,
isn't one of the new ones, right? This is an
oh,
old
no,
one?
no, this is
This is the ladder,
yes, ma'am.
which is a truck.
A Quint
Okay,
does both.
okay. I was just concerned
Yeah.
that it's broke.
Right, no, I agree with you, and these are the things that always gives us heartburn, but there's always maintenance and repairs associated with, but I can tell you, it's doing us no good if it's not in operation.
That's correct.
So there's no other way when you all check your engines, your trucks, this is something you could not have seen.
That's correct. Not unless they pulled off, started disassembling the top of the motor, 'cause that's how they got down to it. And it was, the hole that was rubbed in, it was probably about the size of fingernail. Just enough where it would suck up that, road grime.
Okay.
So,
It's been down since September 15th. What are we doing in the meantime?
well, we have reserve apparatus that's in service. We just don't have a ladder truck.
Okay.
And
So we would have to would call Forney or Kaufman.
another thing is, so these guys had it, they were working with it and found this. So with that being said, they have the apparatus, they didn't broke it down, so we kind of stuck, this is the price, this is what we gonna pay, because they're in it. Is that kind of where we are?
Yes.
I always want to make sure we're
And-
being competitive, but
Well, there's
We're in
not
a
a whole lot of
situation.
alternatives for.
Yeah, not for the
this
big
type of
motors.
equipment in the engine. It's Cummins that is doing the repair.
Cummins diesel, yeah,
Yep.
Manufacturer.
Correct.
manufacturer.
And just so you are aware, Chief and I had a conversation, we explored the opportunity to do a full replacement on the engine to extend the life of the equipment instead of spending $61,000 on the repair. Was there a way to do a full replacement on the engine to extend the life of the equipment? And that was not an option.
Now, the best they would do is a rebuild, and it was for 92,000, but it's a rebuild of somebody else's motor. They're basically gonna rebuild ours for that 61, so.
and the warranty's just, hey, I'm gonna make.
1 year.
It works for a year.
It's a 1-year warranty for the 61,000. If we went 92,000, there's a 2-year,
For a used engine,
yeah, for a rebuild,
rebuilt.
yeah.
You just feel better with the 1 year because it's hours and they're rebuilding it versus
Yeah, I think
next
the,
year for 30, yeah.
yeah, I think, trying to just get an extra, a year out of it for 30,000, that's, I feel more comfortable with them rebuilding our motor, because we know what we got in it, we know how it's been taken care of and everything else, versus somebody else's they rebuild and place in there, 'cause you don't know what you're gonna get.
Okay,
And we
Just looking at the warrant.
can't take a ladder truck over to AAA muffler. It's not
No.
gonna work.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
money in your budget for that?
Right now there is, yeah.
We can take care of this? Okay.
That was gonna be my ask, is that we have enough in our reserve funding to cover these kinds of expenses that are pretty substantial.
We have enough money in the general fund budget as adopted to take care of it right now. If we run into further maintenance issues, when we talk during budget, we may need to come back at some point for a budget amendment. And when we do, we have more than enough funds in reserve in the general fund to pull out. We also have some other things that we're talking about related to fleet and fire maintenance that may save us some costs down the road, but we're not ready to move forward with that yet.
And then after a year, we're gonna be able to use this ladder for how many more years?
Well, hopefully, we'll be talking about replacing this ladder truck
Like when?
in FY '28.
2 years.
And so, right now, it's been in, that's 10 years in service, and then hopefully we get 10 years in reserve status for it.
All right, anyone else? Thank you, Chief.
So right now that it's not in service, are we using anything in lieu of, did I hear you say yes, no?
Yeah, we have our reserve engines that are in service.
We s-
We just don't have the ladder truck. So we'll be counting on automatic aid and mutual aid for that.
This last year, excuse my ignorance, let's say this last calendar year, not fiscal year, in this last calendar year, about how many times have we used the ladder truck for service calls?
Well, it runs pretty regularly. It runs out of station too. We run it as an engine,
As an engine?
if it's not being used as a truck.
And you said we don't have, Chief, we don't have any vehicles in reserve as a backup?
That's the only one ladder truck that we have.
And then in 2028, when we go to replace, just your goal, this vehicle would move into reserve.
That's correct.
And we would have, so we would not, we could
Yeah.
run into a similar issue, but we would have backup.
Yeah, we have a reserve truck, yes.
Thank
I'm
you.
thinking ladder is for height, right?
Yes.
So how high? I mean, we're going up really high.
But our ladder's 100 foot. So that gets us up, where your standoff distances and things like that, that gets us up to that 4-story heights that we need to get to.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief. Is there a motion on the fire department ladder truck motor repair overhaul? That's a
Motion.
number not to exceed $61,020.88.
Motion to approve item 7.2 for the repair of the Quint motor.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, Phil Robinson, or second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, District 4, to move forward with the repairs on the fire department ladder truck motor in an amount not to exceed $61,020.88. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is 7.4, discuss and consider temporary 7.3, sorry. 7.3, discuss and consider resolution number 2272, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, appointing Council Member Donna Renee Anderson to serve at the Texas Municipal League Annual Business Meeting on October the 30th of 2025. This is Omira. Yes.
Mayor and Council, good evening. Before you, you have Resolution 2272. At the Texas Municipal League Annual Conference every year, they hold a business meeting and they ask that you appoint a representative of an elected official to represent the city at that meeting. Councilwoman Anderson represented the city of Terrell last year at the 2024 business meeting, and this year it will be held on October 30th at 3:30 during the conference, and Councilwoman Anderson has graciously volunteered to be the representative if you so choose, and this resolution is basically just saying that.
All right, is there a motion on resolution 2272?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District 3, a second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, District 4, to approve resolution number 2272 as presented. Is there any further discussion?
I just want to say thank you
Thank you.
You're welcome.
for allowing me to serve.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried, unanimous vote of the president. Next item on the agenda is 7.4, discuss and consider temporary suspension of delinquent fees and service disruptions for water utilities. Mark?
We have had a request to consider some relief for individuals that are impacted by the federal government shutdown. And we've had some conversations with Greg about this, and Greg and I both agree that it is not appropriate to grant relief to a specific segment of the population. So what I am proposing this evening for your consideration is a temporary suspension of delinquent fees and service disruption for water utilities in general for utilities that would run for the duration of the federal government's shutdown plus 30 days.
Good. Anybody have any opposition to that? Again, this is resolution number 2271.
I just want to thank Mr. Mills for we're doing this work and making sure we take care of our citizens, because I've had several come forward saying, through no fault of their own, they're not getting a paycheck right now. So whatever we can do to help our citizens, I think is a good move. So thank you to staff for making this happen.
Agreed.
I agree. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
And just the way it's a blanket policy versus, because that's serious to me. I want people to feel like there's equity in what we do and fairness. So I really want to thank you all, you and our attorney.
Okay.
I concur,
Ms.
and I also want to thank Miss Debbie, who's here in the audience today, for also bringing it forth, and Councilmember Robson for having that discussion with city staff. Thank you all.
I would say you're welcome again, but I'll just leave it at that.
This is resolution 2271. What say you, council? Resolution number 2271. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve resolution number 2271.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from our Mayor Pro Tem District 5, Phil Robinson, or second from Stephanie Holmes Thomas, District 4, to approve resolution 2271 as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Council, we may consider each and every one of these together if no one wishes to pull off one of the items. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a
Second.
second? We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, District 3, a second from Phil Robertson, Mayor Pro Tem, District 5, to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion?
I just spoke with legal before this meeting to make sure I'm okay. There was an item about a zoning change. I just want to make sure I'm transparent. I can recuse myself again, or just whatever.
Since it's part of the consent agenda, Councilwoman, I think you're fine, just the way we are.
Okay, I just want to be transparent.
For the first, yeah.
She did.
So I don't have
It's
to.
in the minutes anyway.
It's in the
Okay,
minutes, that's what
that's
I
cool.
explained to the council.
So I'm okay now?
Yeah.
You're okay.
Okay.
It was a matter of record in the first
Thank you so much.
meeting that you did that.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with unanimous vote of those present. Our next item on the agenda is receive housing monthly report and receive the municipal development and engineering monthly report, receive Cobbin County Transportation Projects report, and receive Star Transit ridership monthly report. Council, I would ask that you reach out to our staff if you have any questions on those. Next item on the agenda is to adjourn into executive session in accordance with Section 551 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following: Section 551.071, consultation with attorney; Section 551.072 Personnel Matters, Section 551.087 Deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. We are now in executive session. At this time, we will reconvene into regular session and consider action, if any, on items discussed in executive session. Are there any motions? Hearing none, we are adjourned.